Today's news.
Rare California tropical storm.
Super scared at the moment.
President to view Maui fire destruction.
Some of the challenges are going to be extraordinary.
GOP voters stay with Trump.
They reject the premise of these indictments.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. The first tropical storm in Southern California in more than 80 years and an earthquake in the middle of it all. Flooded streets in Palm Springs, unusual conditions in a part of the country where it's mostly sunny and dry.
We've had storms before, but never anything quite this windy and rainy at the same time.
CBS's Carter Evans begins our coverage.
We are flooded. Tropical storm Hillary tore through Southern California Sunday, bringing more than 40-mile-an-hour winds and major flooding to the desert. In a matter of hours, Palm Springs received more than half a year's worth of rain.
I have a friend who just saw a 60-foot carport get blown off of his neighbor's house and carried 4 houses up.
Hillary made landfall in Baja California, Mexico Sunday with heavy rain and winds pummeling the region. One person died in flash flooding.
Correspondent Elise Preston says all that rain has led to other issues.
Flooding like the mudslides southeast of here in Oak Glen, where the runoff appears to have jumped the protective K-rails, meant to hold back the debris flow. It's the same area where mudslides from a massive storm buried a popular steakhouse less than a year ago. I spoke to a resident who got an alert by the city. Her home was at risk.
If mud were to flow, I don't think the sandbags would do that much heavy lifting that we need it to be doing.
And hours after the tropical storm came ashore, a magnitude 5.1 earthquake shook Southern California.
It was pretty terrifying, pretty sudden, kind of had a action movie feel to it. Caught us off guard, to say the least, yeah, for sure. Once the bubble started flying off the wall, it was a little like, oh, wow. There
have been no reports of major damage or injuries. Well, President Biden checks on the enormous wildfire damage in Hawaii today. Workers have searched 85% of the destruction zone. They say the remaining 15% could take weeks. Here's CBS's Danya Backus.
While the difficult and grim recovery effort goes on Maui, the president and first lady are preparing to visit families impacted by the deadly wildfires. Jessica Armitage and her children watched their beloved town burn as they escaped. They lost everything.
A big gust of wind hit, and it was like a match with gasoline, which set the whole entire road on fire.
She's still questioning why they didn't receive a warning. On Face the Nation Sunday, Governor Josh Green said sirens should have sounded, and he criticized the lack of action by now resigned Maui officials.
The indictment seemed to be only helping former President Trump with likely Republican voters. 62% in our new polls support him. Ron DeSantis is a distant number 2 at just 16%. CBS's Robert Costa says Trump will skip this week's first GOP presidential debate.
If I had his record, I'd be nervous about showing up too.
Republican hopefuls taking aim as the debate stage is taking shape without former President Trump.
I think you owe it to the people to put out your vision, to talk about your record.
But new CBS News polling shows the overwhelming majority of GOP voters want the debate to be about candidates making the case for themselves, opposed to taking on Trump. At least 7 candidates have officially qualified, with others claiming they've hit the thresholds.
If I had his record, I'd be nervous about showing up too.
Republican hopefuls taking aim as the debate stage is taking shape without former President Trump.
I think you owe it to the people to put out your vision, to talk about your record.
But new CBS News polling shows the overwhelming majority of GOP voters want the debate to be about candidates making the case for themselves, opposed to taking on Trump.
Sentence delivered today in Britain: life in prison without parole for a former nurse convicted of murder.
The judge said Lucy Letby had shown no remorse for murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 6 more in a year-long killing spree.
There was premeditation, calculation, and cunning in your actions.
Letby refused to attend her own sentencing or hear the victim impact statements, one bereaved parent calling that her final act of cruelty and cowardice. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
5 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news.